everybody, and welcome back to Final Play Sports Wrap. I'm your host, Pete Lubar, and today we're going to cover the part two of the Mountain West, the final five teams that I didn't cover in last week's session. If you didn't get to see that, you can go out to YouTube and Google that. You should be able to find Mountain West Review 2026, part one. But today we're going to cover the rest of those teams, and we'll start with Nevada. The Wolfpack has been 4-27 in Mountain West play since 2022, and they've got to prove they can shake off 4 seasons where they haven't been very good, quite frankly. Whether incumbent Carter Jones or UCLA transfer Luke Duncan win the quarterback job, Nevada must improve its pass game. Jeff Choate's seat must be warm heading into the season. He is 6-19 at Nevada, 2-13 in conference play. Carter Jones is right now listed as quarterback number 1. He started the last 5 games of the season last year and completed 110 passes for a little over 1,000 yards, 1,019. He had 6 TDs and 8 interceptions. He ran for 36 yards, not much of a running threat. He's going to have to get more accurate if the Wolfpack is going to have a significantly better season. Luke Duncan is a transfer from UCLA. He is waiting in the wings. Didn't play a lot at UCLA, had 21 completions for 235 yards for the Bruins. The running back, the lead back, will be junior Herschel Turner, who had 69 carries for 353 yards. At receiver, the ex-receiver is Marshawn Brown with 16 catches for 164 yards. And the backfield is filled with 2 other spots with transfers. The wide receiver is now Gary Givens III, who transferred in from Northern Illinois. He only had 12 receptions for 145 yards last year. And they've got a kid named Damian Morgan takes over at the slot. He's a transfer from Idaho State. He did have quite a few catches, 53 catches for 607 and 3 touchdowns. Whether he can make the transition from Idaho State to the Mountain West, probably can. We've seen lots of examples of that, particularly at New Mexico, with the Idaho kids coming over and making an impact in year 1. So looking for big things out of Damian Morgan. Offensive line is anchored by preseason All-Mountain Watch list offensive tackle Jack Foster. Defensive end Dylan LaBarbera is Nevada's reigning MVP and a first-team All-Mountain West pick who led the Wolfpack in tackles with 87 last year. Tackles for loss 17 and sacks 6.5. So he's a game wrecker on the inside. On paper, the schedule looks relatively easy for them. They start with Western Kentucky at home. They then play FCS powerhouse Montana State, so that should be a really good test for them. Followed by Middle Tennessee State, and finally they play UCLA at the end of the season, when UCLA should be fully concentrating on their Big Ten schedule, so maybe a surprise there. The last 4 games of the season may be a bit of a gauntlet. They play New Mexico at home, Northern Illinois on the road, Hawaii at home, and at UNLV. So my prediction is that they will go 4-8 overall, 2-6 in the Mountain West. Let's turn our attention to San Jose State University. And after a 7-6 record in 2024, Ken Niumatalolo, Niumatalolo and the San Jose State Spartans fell to 3-9 in 2025. 2 of their wins, however, were against 2 of the better teams last year. They beat New Mexico and they beat Hawaii, and both of those games were at home. San Jose State is ranked 137th out of 138 FBS schools in returning production, so they will need immediate impact from a bevy of unproven players. There's an open competition to be quarterback and replace Walker Eget, who transferred to Duke. The contenders include Hawaii transfer Luke Weaver. They've got a kid named Daniel Rolovich and Robert McDaniel. Luke Weaver is listed number 1 on the depth chart. He played last year for Modesto College, so he transferred from Hawaii to Modesto College. He's now back at San Jose State. Top receiver Danny Scudero transferred to Colorado. So the receiving core will lean on transfers like Penn State's Anthony Ivy. He had one catch for 15 yards. Jordan Anderson at Portland State and Jerry McClure from San Diego State. It's going to take, these are inexperienced guys. It's going to take some time to generate and gel with a new quarterback, and we'll have to see if that can be done. The running game's relatively inexperienced. Jabari Bates carried the ball 27 times for 192 yards and 2 touchdowns. And the Spartans are starting over on defense. They're heavily rebuilding via the transfer portal, adding 11 new defensive transfers. The schedule starts rough with the Spartans with a game at USC, but eases up with Western Michigan, Cal Poly, and then Cross Bay rival Fresno State. Let's say they go 2-2 with those. They get New Mexico, UNLV, and North Dakota State at home, but they do travel to Hawaii. My feeling is, unfortunately, with all the inexperience, they'll likely end up around 6-6 for the season, 4-4 in conference. So not exactly what they'd like, but better than last year. The Cowboys, Wyoming, we'll turn our attention to Wyoming. Wyoming was 4-8 last year and 2-6 under head coach Jay Salvell. They were 3-9 in 2023. They've got a new quarterback in transfer, Tyler Hughes. He comes from William and Mary. He's sort of the front runner right now, leading a revamped offense coordinated by Christian Taylor. He's a senior transfer. He posted over 2,300 yards passing and 670 yards rushing in 2025. So those are big numbers. He obviously has some experience. He'll be competing aside Mason Druby and a kid named Landon Sims, who's recovering and healthy. The backfield is going to get a major boost with the return of Samuel Tote Harris and transfer Markel Holman. And Harris ran for 558 yards, 1 TD, and caught 16 balls for 183 yards. Holman played at Charleston Southern last year, but he ran for over 1,000 yards. So they've got some experience coming back at that position. Receiver, they have almost no experience coming back. Everyone who's slated to start is coming back. Were on the team last year. But Eric Richardson's the ex-receiver. He had 10 catches for 112 yards. Jackson Holman will play the Y. He had 16 catches last year for 139 yards. And Devin DeBlanc will play slot. He had 17 catches for 90 yards. Their tight end is a kid named Jake Wilson. He missed all of 2025 with an injury, so we're not sure if he'll be ready to go when the season starts. And Wyoming returns just 3 defensive starters under coordinator Aaron Bull. They've got standout safety Jonas Thomas, who had 57 tackles, 2 interceptions in 2025. And their nickel is Desmond Hearns, 35 tackles and 5 breakups. And then they got 1 interior defensive lineman, Jaden Williams, coming back. And that is it. The rest of them are all new. And you never know how they're going to gel. The schedule's not too bad. I mean, they start with rival CSU, who they smoked last year 28-0. But this time it's at CSU. They get Northern Colorado, who they should beat. They get Central Michigan, who would probably be a pick'em game. And then they get into Mountain West play, and they get Hawaii and New Mexico at home this year. They have to travel to UNLV. For some reason, the last week of the season, they play UConn. So I think they have a potential to be 3-1 or 4-0 in non-conference. We'll see how CSU rebounds, and likely 3-5 or 2-6 in conference. So let's say they're going to have a 6-6 year, maybe get to a bowl. So good outlook for them and improvement. Now switch to Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois is a new team to the Mountain West. They're leaving the MAC to begin their first football-only season in the Mountain West Conference under interim head coach Rob Harley, who took over after Thomas Hammock left to coach in Seattle. So with the Seahawks, the team was 3-9 last year. They're blown out by a bunch of games. As this was sort of unexpected, as Huskies have traditionally been a good team. Um, they've got a new quarterback, Taron Dickens, who transferred into the program from Western Carolina. He'll compete with Jalen Macon and Brady Davidson. Jalen is listed at the top of the depth chart, but I wouldn't be surprised if Dickens, with his significant experience, doesn't ultimately win the job. He threw for over 3,500 yards last year with the Catamounts. So, you can't replace experience. He obviously can throw the ball around, and I think he'll end up with the job. They've got Telly Johnson returning as running back one. He had 124 totes last year for 724 and 4 TDs. Their leading receiver from last year returns. He caught 46 for 506 yards and 3 TDs. They he's going to be paired with Cam Thompson, who transferred back from Mississippi State after not recording any stats at Mississippi State last year. And they are breaking in 4 new starters on the offensive line. The big problem for the Huskies last year was a near complete turnover on defense, and things did not go as expected. Unfortunately, they've had another complete turnover this season, so it may take some time to come together while at the same time moving up in class on a weekly basis. So should be an interesting year for the Huskies to see how they do. They start with Iowa and won't win that game, and then they play Illinois State, which they might be able to win. And then they play Arizona, they won't win that game, and then they play Georgia State. So they should be 2-2 entering the Mountain West. They play Air Force in their quirky triple option. This year they avoid New Mexico, but they play Hawaii and UNLV in back-to-back weekends. And with little experience across the board and a completely new defense, it would be hard to imagine the Huskies going better than 4-8 overall, maybe 2-6 in the Mountain West. So let's turn our sights on UTEP. UTEP is also joining the Mountain West for the 26th season, coming over from Conference USA. The Miners were 2-10 last year. They were 1-7. It marks the 10th out of 11 years they've had a sub 500 record. They're led by Coach Scotty Walden, who's heading into his 3rd season after a fairly successful stint at Austin Peay. The offense has nowhere to go but up, as they were near last in the nation in nearly every offensive category. The Miners are going through wholesale changes on offense, with 7 transfers expected to be on the first team unit. At quarterback, they brought in E.J. Colson from Incarnate World. He had 210. He completed 210 passes in 296 attempts, which is really good, 70.9%. He threw for 2,142 yards, so a couple thousand yards, 16 TDs, and just 4 interceptions. So he's a highly accurate quarterback, got some experience, and they also brought in Raymond Moore from Morgan State. They brought in a running back from Missouri. He was used, his name is Tavoris Jones. He was used sparingly at Missouri, only getting 7 carries for 7 in 2025, but the reports from the minor camp are extremely positive on him so far. At receiver, they brought in Carver Cheeks from Northern Colorado. He had 71 completions for 920 yards and 929 yards and 6 TDs. And Jalen Brown fills the other wide receiver spot. He only had 10 catches last year. They brought in 8 new linemen. Defensively, they weren't bad in 3rd down situations last year. And they have a decent secondary, but they finished outside the top 85 in total defense. And my feeling is, with a whole new offense, they might be on the field way more than they want to be. So they start the season with the Sooners, who will be in the top 10. They've then got a winnable game with Texas Southern. Then they play Michigan, who's in the top 20, and then they play New Mexico. So they might start 1-3 and may not find another win all season. It looks like maybe a 2-10 or 3-9 type season with a 1-7 conference mark that will put Coach Walden on the hot seat. So that is the review of the final 5 teams. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please subscribe to my YouTube page. And I appreciate you guys. I hope you have a great day. Thanks. Bye.